Welcome. We're going to talk today about the Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons and how you can get involved via the Cities Appeal. Joining me today is Sean Morris. Sean has been the Secretary of the UK and Ireland Nuclear Free Local Authorities, or NFLA, since November 2008. And prior to that, he was the NFLA English Forum Secretary from 1999. As a Manchester City Council officer, Sean is also the Secretary of the UK and Ireland Mayors for Peace chapter and promotes Manchester City Council's official peace policy. In late 2019, Manchester agreed with other Mayors for Peace lead cities to establish a European chapter, fully funded for the next 4 years. Welcome, Sean.
Hello, hi.
So in 2017, the United Nations adopted the first legally binding international agreement on the banning of nuclear weapons. The treaty is known as the Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons, or the Ban Treaty. So, Sean, could you tell us a bit more about the treaty?
Yes, I'd be delighted to. The treaty was agreed in 2017 after 4 years of special conferences held by the UN, which looked at the humanitarian consequences of nuclear weapon attacks. That showed that there would be massive climate change, massive millions of people could be killed in an incident, even if it's done as an accident or in a limited way, really. So as a result of those conferences, a special meet was brought together, and it was agreed by 122 nations with only one dissenting voice to support and create what was called a Treaty for the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons, often referred to as a Nuclear Ban Treaty. That was agreed and a process begun in order to get it ratified, which has begun. And at the moment, we're sort of 2 years into that process, and it will be concluded very soon, really. The treaty tries to look at removing the stalemate that's been on the nuclear weapons debate for the last sort of 15 years, where the NPT, or the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, has not got the momentum that it began with in the 1970s, and has been stalled with none of the main nuclear weapon states reducing their weapons stockpile in the last few years. So as a result of that, there still remains, though, a large group of nations led by the nuclear weapons, but also NATO states and what are called umbrella states with security agreements with nuclear weapon states, like the likes of Japan and Australia. They remain implacably opposed to this process. So there is a very strong and ongoing debate in the UN about how this may work in the future. But it's incumbent on those organisations and groups like the International Campaign to Abolish Nuclear Weapons, like Mayors for Peace, like CND, like the International Red Cross, who believe that this is a really essential treaty, that this process goes ahead and is successful, really, and moves forward and unblocks the stalemate that there is on the nuclear weapons debate at the moment, really. And that's what the treaty is really about, to try to change hearts and minds and to create real, genuine multilateral nuclear disarmament as well. And that the great majority of the states of the UN are fully behind that process as well.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you. So in the UK, when someone creates a petition and they want to lobby government with that petition, the number of signatures has got to reach 100,000 before being considered for debate in Parliament. Can you tell us how many countries need to sign and ratify the treaty for it to come into effect?
Well, in the United Nations, the rule is that you have to have at least 50 states that have signed and ratified an international treaty for it to become law. So that's what you have with the NPT treaty, which has been the existing nuclear weapons disarmament treaty. So at the moment, we have had 36 states that have both signed and ratified the treaty. There are about 120 states that have signed the treaty. So we know that you will get the 50 states, the minimum 50 states that you need. That may well happen in the next few months. It's quite possible that in August, which is the 75th anniversary of the Hiroshima and Nagasaki attacks, that you may get the remaining states that take you over that 50-state threshold. At that point, therefore, it's then dealt with by the UN as an international treaty, just like other treaties like the Landmine Ban Treaty, the Chemical Weapons Treaty, and so on, really. And it's treated with the same level of respect as the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. So the 50 states has been the critical deadline, really. And the likes of ICAN, and CND, ICRC, mayors of peace and so on. That's what we've been working to really, and we expect very, very soon that we'll meet that target, and then we can really start moving this forward at the UN and in international opinion as well, which is where this is going to work in the long term.
Thanks, Sean. So has the UK signed the $1 million question?
Well, unsurprisingly, it's a nuclear weapon state. It's quite a belligerent nuclear weapon state in that way as well. So it's been very actively opposed to the treaty. It's saying it's a sideshow, that it gets in the way of the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty talks, that it actually stops that more gradual move towards disarmament, really. So it's been working with the United States, France, China, and Russia, and has been lobbying through NATO to oppose the treaty. And to date, that policy hasn't changed. And of course, since the election, the current government still has that view as well, and that's its policy. It's important to note that other parties are a bit more flexible on the issue. Both Labour, the SNP, Plaid Cymru, the Green Party have all shown interest and support for the treaty. And so over time, if there's a political change, there may be some change there, but there is a momentum, and particularly can happen in Parliament, for more pressure to be put on. So any way that we can put pressure on the UK government is the better, if we're trying to get this treaty to be the effective instrument that we want it to be as well.
Okay, so you've hinted in that response to how people could get involved. So, is there actually a campaign out there in the UK to support the treaty?
Yes, I mean, CND has got a national disarmament campaign on which you can get its website. But ICAN, the international campaign to abolish nuclear weapons, of which both CND and NFLA is a member of, and Mayors of Peace is a strategic partner with. They instituted in late 2018 an initiative called ICAN Citizens Appeal that seeks to get councils of all types in all states which at the moment oppose the treaty to pass resolutions at a city level, at a town level, at a local level that support the treaty, that say they think this is the way forward, and they think that the UK government is incorrect in its assertions, that it's the wrong way forward. So at the moment, there's been a great push for that, and we're trying to get more and more cities involved in that dynamic campaign. To date, there are about 300 cities, towns, even states in the likes of the US and Germany who've actually supported the treaty and have passed resolutions to that effect. They include the likes of Berlin, of Paris, of Washington DC, of Barcelona recently as well as little town councils as well. So all across local government in over 15 countries, there is now strong support for this treaty, and strong lobbying then going to the governments of those countries to say that towns and cities see this as the way forward really as well.
So towns and cities can, as you say, can lead and can put pressure on the government. So which UK cities have signed? Which UK cities are supporting the treaty?
Well, I'm pleased to say, Jacqui, that my own home city of Manchester, the home of the NFLA, the home of the UK and Ireland Mayors of Peace chapter, was the first European city to sign the treaty with the Spanish city of Granollers in late 2018. Since then, Edinburgh, Norwich, Oxford, the counties of Renfrewshire and Fife in Scotland, and the small Yorkshire Town Council of Hebden Royd have all passed resolutions. We're expecting a number of other councils to have passed resolution next couple of months, but clearly the current COVID-19 outbreak makes normal council business impossible. But when normal council business comes back, we expect a good number of other councils to also pass resolutions in both England, Scotland and Wales as well, really. So it's a movement that is growing, and it's part of an international movement that's growing as well. So,
as you say, with everybody being locked down because of COVID-19, this is a really good opportunity for individuals, groups that are out there. Gives them a really good opportunity to get this together, to get all the information together, and to get themselves prepared and ready to lobby the town and city councils and their MPs when everybody's sort of back to business. So what I would say is I would recommend anybody out there that wants to put some pressure on the town council or the city council is to have a look on CND's website and look up the nuclear ban communities, and you'll find on there a draft resolution, the resolution that Sean's been talking about. You'll find a draft resolution on there that you can use. You'll find details of how to work with your local CND group. You can contact the national CND office, and if you're based in the Greater Manchester region, of course, you can drop us an email, or you can give us a call, and we'd be more than happy to point you in the right direction, point you in the direction of information on the NFLA Mayors for Peace website as well, and point you in the direction of your local group. If you're not a member of a CND group, we can put you in touch with your local group if you have one in your town or city, and they can help you as well. So there's plenty there for people to be getting on with while they're bored and in lockdown. And thank you so much, Sean. We really appreciate that, and it's given us a lot of information. And we hope people will pick this up and help us help Greater Manchester and District CND and Mayors for Peace and the NFLA and ICANN in lobbying their local councils. So thank you very much, Sean.
Thank you.